Hey guys, welcome to video number 2 in our Halloween Stamp-A-Stack series. We're making Which Way to the Candy. Our Stamp-A-Stack makes 3 of this card. If you missed video number 1, where we made Hey Crazy Cat, it's Halloween, our Stamp-A-Stack makes 2 of that card. I've linked it for you below the video. Alright, so we've got our Which Way to the Candy. We've got our card kits here. So if you get the card kits from the kitchen table stamper store while supplies last, you're gonna get 3 Highland Heather card bases for this particular design. So we're gonna take our Highland Heather card base and you're gonna have to do your background. I used the Time Worn Text embossing folder and then did this cool direct to paper inking technique. So let's do that. This is a Stamp-A-Stack. So if you're following along with the kit or if you're cutting your own kit and following along, you've already cut your designer series paper for 8 cards. Now we're gonna work on design number 2, which makes 3 of that card, and we're going to emboss all 3 card fronts at one time and then do that direct to paper inking technique. So let's get the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine in our Time Worn Text folder. Here's our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We're gonna pop this guy into the folder. Now be careful, your text has, your folder has text on it if you're using the Time Worn Text. You can use any folder that you have, but the Time Worn Text has text on it, so you want it to run level so that it's not uphill or downhill, and you want it to run face up. You don't want it to be upside down because when you bring the ink pad over, you're going to be able to pick out some of the words. So we're gonna drop our number 1 platform, then our folder, our number 4 plate, and give it a crank. Do all 3 at one time. There it is. When I fold it up, you can see our words run pretty well level and in the right direction. They're facing up. All right, so this kit makes 3. We've got 2 that are already in inked and the one that we just embossed. Now we're gonna do like in video number 1 where we're gonna run the ink pad over the texture on the card front and just highlight the awesome text and that kind of crinkly texture. You can add more ink, but you can't take it off. So use a light touch and go back and add more if there's an area where you need to add more. It's cool and creepy, don't you think? Perfect for a Halloween card. All right, there's our card bases all inked up. Now let's take a look at the kits. When you get the kits, you get your card bases, your envelopes, and we do your cardstock die cutting for you. So you're gonna have 3 of this Stitch So Sweetly rectangle. This is the second to the largest from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. You're gonna have a 1 3/4 inch circle from Crushed Curry. We cut that with the 1 3/4 inch circle punch. If you don't have a 1 1/4 or 1 3/4 inch circle, you can always use the 1 5/8 or the 1 7/8 inch from layering circles. Then we cut pumpkin pie, so swoopy square label here. This is the Label Me Lovely punch, and we just cut that in half for you. So you'll have 3 of those pieces already cut in your envelopes in the kit. If you're not following along with the kit and you're cutting your own, that's okay. Go ahead and cut those cardstock pieces. And now we've got 1 for each of our cards. Let's take a look at our designer series paper. Now we cut that ahead of time using the Wonder Recipe number 9. Let me bring that in here. Slide just a little bit. That's okay though. All right, our Wonder Recipe number 9 is going to yield these 8 cards. And this card right here uses this 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 1/4 by 4 stacks. So let's grab those and we're going to adhere them to the card fronts. We're going to do them mix and match so that each card is just a little bit different. These are the 1 inch strips, and this is the 1 1/4 inch strip. So they're going to alternate. This 1 1/4 inch strip is going to be the center and the focus, one on each card. So let's go ahead and adhere those down. I'm going to use multi-purpose liquid glue, and before I get started, I'm going to deal out all the pieces. I want one of each pattern for each card. All right, and then the little bit wider piece, that becomes our focal point. Got my candy paper. I'm going to glue that down just a little tippy across the bottom. And then the other narrow piece, in this case, it's the stripe. And I'm going to glue that down a little bit tippy. And then our wider piece goes over the two. And again, just a little bit tippy. Now we're going to do the same thing with each of the cards. And we'll alternate our patterns. And there's our second one. And then our third one. And there's our third one. So you can see they're all just a little bit different from using the 3 different designer series papers. Now we can go ahead and adhere our scalloped rectangles to each of these. Go a little bit off center with a approximately even border on the right and top. All right, we've got all of our stitched scallop rectangles adhered down. Let's do some stamping. I've got our little moons here. We need which way to the candy. Now, which way to the candy does not come from Clever Cats. Our greetings come from Frightfully Cute for this one. I couldn't resist which way to the candy with the little witch hat from our featured Clever Cats bundle. Let's go ahead and ink our greeting, stamp it 3 times, 1 on each moon. We're going to use Memento Tuxedo Black for that, and stamp just a tiny bit to the right so we have room for the cat's hat. Isn't that cute? Which way to the candy? All right, slide that aside. We've got a little bit more designer series paper. We need 3 pieces that are 2 1/8 by 3 1/4 for our background pieces. And in your kit, you've got either 2 of this one and 1 of this one, or 1 of this one and 2 of this one. So you'll have enough to copy my samples exactly, but of course you can match this up. This would look very happy and bring a little more color. The boo would be adorable, especially with the moon, the big moon in the background. You can use the ones that I did, or look at this multicolor stripe. So feel free to mix it up, but we need 3 pieces that are 2 1/8 by 4 1/4. So since we're more than 3 and we're more than 2, it doesn't divide up equally. I'm going to take this guy right here and I'm going to cut 3 1/4 and then 2 1/8 2 times. So that'll be 2 pieces. We got some circles from this piece of designer series paper, so let's cut 3 1/4. And then flip this and cut 2 1/8. And then we've got our third piece of designer series paper for this card. So we've got our 3 pieces of designer series paper. We're going to mix and match them on our cards. First thing you want to do before you glue these down is you're going to want to take that little pumpkin pie label that came from your kit or that you punched and cut in half, add a little glue, add it to the back of your designer series paper, then multi-purpose liquid glue the whole thing, and center that designer series paper right inside those stitches, that scalloped stitched rectangle. Go ahead and do that with all 3 cards. Mix and match the patterns. All right, last one here. Let's slide them aside for a minute. We're going to do some stamping next. We've got our cute little cats, hats, and brooms to make. By now, if you know me and the Clever Cats, you know that I want a really, really dark black cat. So we're going to take some white cardstock. Got basic white cardstock here. Check about where it's going to stamp. I'm pretty happy with it there. And then we're going to use our magnets to hold that down. And keep your magnets away from each other. Really work to do that. Cat is from, of course, Clever Cat's photopolymer stamp set. I like to put it right underneath there so that I've got some resistance when I ink my cat. And I'm going to stamp my cat. And then I'm going to ink my cat again because it's very rare that you get a perfectly smooth black image, and then the double layer of black ink will give you a nice strong black cat. So stamp again, and we're going to do the same thing for the hat. So I got the hat on the other side of my platform. I'll just flip it, and then I'll adjust my cardstock. Let's see where I can put it and get the hat stamped on there without bumping it into my cat. Just rotate until I get something good. That should do right there. Magnet down. Right in the corner there, let's ink and then stamp. When you're close in the corner there, you got to do a little extra pressure close to the hinges. Make sure it makes good contact. Lift, ink, and stamp. Now we need 3 cats and 3 hats, so I'm going to stamp them using my stamp apparatus, and then I'm going to fussy cut them using my paper snips, and then I'll be right back and we'll work on our brooms. All right, I've got my cats and my hats cut away, the other ones, and then I had a kind of on second thought moment. Instead of going to cut them next, I thought I'd do a little bit more stamping and use the scrap areas of this white cardstock as best I could. So let's bring in these little guys that I cut away. We need 3 sets of bats, 1 for each card. So we're going to use some of this area that would have been cut off, and we're going to stamp 3 sets of bats. As I saw it, I said there's really opportunity there to do almost the rest of our stamping all in this one piece. So I thought, let's stop the video and show you how to get really good use out of your cardstock. Now we also need 3 brooms. My brooms are Bumblebee for the bristles and Soft Suede for the broomstick. Then we need 3 brooms. So we're going to start with the Bumblebee bristles, and we're going to stamp those in anywhere we can fit them on our scraps. All right, I think we got our money's worth out of that one. Now let's see here. We can put one here, and then I can put one. Where else do I want to put one so I can still try to get as many brooms out of here as we can? Ooh, that's close, but it works. All right, let me wipe off my broom because we're going to switch now to Soft Suede. And let's see if I can fit one. I can fit one here. Awesome. And I think I can fit one here. I wonder if I can get the third one out of here. That would be winning. I don't know though. I don't know if I can fit the whole thing anywhere. Oh, that's really close. I'm going to try it anyway. Yes. So there's all of our parts. I'm going to go ahead and cut them all out. When I cut out my broom, just a little tip here, you're gonna fussy cut the broom, but there is absolutely no need to fussy cut the bristles of the broom because you're gonna cut the bristles out of Bumblebee. So when you cut this guy off, go ahead and cut off all the bristles, and then just cut the broomstick with a little white border around. And then again, you're going to cut off the bristles. You don't need any of this. The Bumblebee bristles are going to cover, so then just cut straight across to make a glue tab. And then when you cut out the bristles, you'll cut so that you have a little white border around the whole thing, and then you'll cut those details. So you got to cut them only 1 time per broom. And it really makes a really cool dimensional broom because we're going to add the bristles onto the back of the broom with a Stampin' Dimensional. All right, I'm going to get all these cut out and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, guys, I've got all my bits cut out. I got one more little broom to finish here. I went ahead and I put together my brooms for 2 copies. I colored my buckle for 2 copies. And now we're going to catch up our 3rd copy. Just get this little broom trimmed. And I need a black mini Stampin' Dimensional. I'm going to put that right on the end of my broom here where we left those brown bristles as a glue tab. Line up our little straw bristles over, and there's our broom. Now our hat gets a little pumpkin pie buckle. I've got a Stampin' Right marker here, and you don't have to be perfect about this. I love it with the black stamping. Just fill in, and it doesn't matter if you stay in the lines or not. We've got some bows tied. Each card needs a bow, so grab a length off of the card that's included in your kit or off the spool. We're just going to tie up a little bow. Such a little cutie. I love this pattern with Halloween, but it's going to be great at Christmas time too. Black and white gingham ribbon is awesome. All right, there's all of our bows. I've also done all the hats have a black Stampin' Dimensional on the back. I'm going to fold up the wings on my bat. That allows us to put a little bit of glue on the body, and the wings can be free. And let's go ahead and get this assembled. I'm going to slide this to the side. Here's our sample and our cards. So first thing, multi-purpose liquid glue. I'm going to add my Which Way to the Candy moons, 1 on each card, about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch from the top, and a little bit off center to the right. That gives us some room for the cat's hat and the bats. All right, that's our moons. Now our cats and brooms, they're next. I love to glue the cat's tail to the broom, and that way they're kind of as one piece. It helps me with positioning. So got my little cat glued to my broom, and I'll add some more multi-purpose liquid glue, and then it can bring this 2 pieces to the card. And I've got like 1/4 of an inch of designer series paper showing under the broom. Make sure it's level. Very good. And now we'll do 2 more cats and brooms. All right, we've got cats and brooms. Now we can peel and stick our hat. Make sure you don't cover your sentiment. Next up, bats. A little dab on the body. And then I got enough glue right there, so I'm gonna just kiss my 2 little bats together. They can share the glue. A little one flying up and away from the moon, and then the big guy flying kind of off the moon. All right, more bats. Hee, so cute. We're down to embellishments. Let's get some glue dots. We're going to add a bow onto each of these little labels here with a mini glue dot. They're so cute, but they're not done. We need to add just a little bit of sparkle. So let's get some of our cute stars and take your pick tool. And I'm gonna just add 2 orange ones. I think that the orange here kind of balances if we do 2 orange stars. It's almost got that triangle placement that we're looking for. Little cluster of bats and stars work. So I'm actually doing 2, which is kind of unusual for me. I try for 3 or 5 for odd numbers, so a little different this time. Couple of stars. And with your cute stars, you really want to press them down. Make sure that they make good contact. There we go. Which Way to the Candy. Super cute, right? If you got any questions about the project, email marissa@kitchentablestamper.com to see if there are still kits available. Optional class kits are available at kitchentablestamper.com/shop while supplies last. Just use the product filter in the right-hand menu and product filter for class packets. And you'll see if there's any still available. We make a limited supply. You can follow along with the class for free on the blog, but class packets are available while supplies last. And to shop Stampin' Up! 24/7, you can buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video where we'll complete our Stamp-A-Stack with 3 Batty for You cards. Isn't that just so cute? All right, you guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.